Hello and welcome to ForMorSport Season 2, Episode 1. We are back from the long break we had from the end of last season. I'm your co-host, Johnny, and as always, I'm joined by my boy, Chris. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. Looking forward to the new season, new followers, new subscribers, new fun and games. Let's do it.
That is the plan. We want to grow this channel and we are looking forward to having lots of people coming in, getting involved in the chat, getting involved with us on all of our social handles. We are looking forward to a great season where we get to speak with you about all the things that are so important when it comes to football. Mark Fraser, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, sir? I hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel, even on the first show of the new season. Who's there? Who's first in the room? But the man, Mark Fraser. Welcome and greetings to you. So, Chris, what a season we have got in front of us. Is it not going to be absolutely amazing?
Yeah. It's. I would love to say it's going to be difficult to predict, but it's not, is it really?
It is going to be difficult to predict. Anyone could win the league, sir. Anyone. Greetings to you, Mrs. Morrison. She says, hello, boys. Thank you so much for coming into the stream. We are so looking forward to hearing what's your opinion, my dear, of football. How do you see football going this season? I want to hear your opinions. Make sure you drop us a line. And as Marcus said, it's all good up here in the north. Yes, north of the border. We're looking forward to an amazing season in Great Britain. But at the moment, we are going to be focusing hard on the EPL, the English Premier League, sir. We and ladies, we are looking forward to talking about all things EPL. But before we start that, we need to have a massive shout out to the England ladies who won the Euros. Fantastic, superb skill, quality. Some of the goals I watched were just next level. Anyone that thinks that women's football is not good, you need to stand up, walk out the room, because women's football is now here and it is massive. Oh my goodness, I was so nervous. And when I saw England Germany, I thought, oh no, it's happening again. Gonna go to penalties. Oh no, it didn't. It got dealt with properly one time. So well done to England ladies on winning the Euros. At least they can do it. The men can't do that, but the Lionesses, yes, they have done it. And also mid-season, obviously, we'll talk about Arsenal in a little while, but actually, we've already had a cup won. Liverpool. Would you want to talk about that? The Charity Shield being played at Leicester's ground, because obviously they needed to have the Wembley prepared for the Euros final. So it's a different venue. But how did you find that game? Talk to me about it, from your own personal experience. Now that you have no Mane, but you have Nunes.
Okay. As a curtain raiser, it's a good game of football.
There's a slight crackle. I don't know if you can hear. There is a slight crackle.
Slight crackle?
A little bit of a crackle and pop.
Oh dear, we don't want that. As a curtain raiser, really good game of football. If the FA want to get more people involved in football, I think it's a good idea to move that game around the country as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to move it around the country. Overall, though, is it classed as a trophy?
Yes, it is. It has been for many years.
I don't get excited for that, to be honest.
It's a showpiece.
It is.
It's an introduction to the new season. The winners of the Premier League and the winners of the FA Cup, they have played each other for years and years and years. It's a good, I love it. It's a good introduction, a good test.
It was, put it this way, it was good to win it against City, but ultimately does it mean anything over the course of the season? Not really.
But I get that. But it was billed as a battle between Núñez and Haaland.
And for one game, I mean, first of all, Núñez didn't even start the game.
No, that's true.
He didn't start the game. And over the course of the season, is that one game, that billing, is it really correct? Me personally, I don't think so. Look, I know people want to build the narratives because they were the top two from last year and whatever else. Pep and Jurgen, they've been going toe to toe for a few years now and whatever. But to tell the truth, as a Liverpool fan, there isn't a rivalry with them. They are they're the champions. They're the best team squad in the Premiership. And most of the time, if you end up above them, you're the champions. It's just one of those things. There isn't a rivalry.
And yet you seem to find a way of being able to beat them. Hello to you, Sally Myers. The girls played brilliantly. Yes, they did. And also to Roger, who's in the doghouse. What have you done? Thank you for coming in, popping in and saying hello. We really appreciate you supporting the channel. This is the new season where we're going to be talking about all things football. I'm so looking forward to having you sharing the screen with us and sharing your opinions from the Chelsea perspective. Yes. So, Chris, we've talked about Euros. Well done to England. We've talked about the Charity Shield. Well done to Liverpool. Were you sad to see Mane going? I mean, did you think before that game, did you think, oh, now we haven't got Mane, will Núñez be able to step into his shoes and play just as good? Or did you think he's got it, he's okay?
No. This is something that has to change in the new season, by the way. You have to keep me honest with that.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, I was sad to see Mane go, but considering all the things that he has done, I think there gets a point where if a player wants to leave your football club, they can go with their head held high. It's just a shame that the decision was not made earlier, so that at the end of the season he could have been given a guard of honor, like someone like Origi was given.
Yeah.
Perhaps was not as influential as Mane, but that's beside the point. He went with, I would say, 99.9% of Liverpool fans' blessing, because no football team stays the same. You know, you look at Chelsea, they became European champions after Hazard left. You look at Arsenal, you know, Henry left and all these other players left. Arsenal are still a massive club. No club is gonna fall because of one player. You just, for want of a better phrase, you evolve, don't you? So if Núñez comes in and he's 22, 23 years old or whatever it is, and he's given the time to adjust and he does hit the ground, well, not even hit the ground running, but if he just does half of what Mane did in his time,
then it would be great.
He'll be fairly successful. So
I totally agree. So I'm wondering whether or not you should log in and log out. I don't know. What do you reckon?
The crackle. I don't hear any crackle, but I'm happy to.
Okay, so people, if you can hear, maybe it's me. I'm certain I can hear the crackling, but do you know what? We'll just carry on as we go.
You talk about Arsenal's transfer dealings, and I'll come back.
I talk about that. We could talk about that for hours. All right. So if you're going to do a quick sound check and then come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so wonderful, beautiful people. Chris has thrown the gauntlet and said, I need to talk about Arsenal's transfer. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. What I want to do is say hello to, I've seen Rogers put on their screen, world champions, please. Well, I never. So obviously Chelsea are in transition. They have a new set of people up front now. Let's see how well they do. We don't know. There's going to be a lot of changes. City obviously are the champions. Are they going to be the ones that will continue to dominate the league? Can they go one step further and dominate the Champions League? Who knows? So Peter Window Cleaning has just said, I hear crackling too. Unfortunately, no matter how many times we do our sound checks, something always happens. It's always the way. So for those of you that are new to the channel, If you like what you see, consider subscribing. Join us. Our channel is small, but we are growing. We talk about all things football, but it is the very first episode of the new season. And all we want to talk about is football. But it has been a long time, a nice little gap. Obviously, we know that City are the champions. Real Madrid won the Champions League over Liverpool. There's a lot to play for this season. Every team has strengthened, has improved, has got better players. I know that Chris wants me to talk about our transfer window, because that does seem to be the thing that has dominated a big chunk of the media. But obviously, we're not the only ones. Tottenham have also improved. Liverpool have bought new players. In fact, everyone has improved. We're just going to... Chris is back. So, Chris, are you now not crackling? Let's see.
I couldn't tell you, my friend.
No, you're not. You sound clear as a whistle. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
I don't know what
is that what it is? So every time you start to crack, I'll kick you out and you can come back in again.
Yeah. let's hope it doesn't happen again. That's very
no. Let's hope not. So I think what we should do, as we are a show about talking about the English Premier League, we should start off with the opening game of the Premier League. Don't you think? Don't you think that we should start with maybe the opening game of this? So let me add this to the screen. What do we see here? We see the mighty Eagles played at home against my team, Arsenal. And what happened? Arsenal managed to get a very, very hard-fought 2-0 away win. Now, not that I want to talk about the past, not that I want to bring up the past, but just for context. Last season, we opened up the Premier League against Brentford, COVID-ridden, and we got battered. And we were the laughing stock of the Premier League. The laughing stock. People laughed at us.
I'm getting divided out, guys. I'm getting divided out.
we were laughed at. Fingers were pointed at how terrible we played. It's funny how football is. A season later, another potential banana skin, and it has been. I've not been I was so worried. I thought Arsenal have had an amazing pre-season, beaten the likes of some good teams. We've beaten teams like Chelsea. We've beaten some good quality out there, and I thought, but it doesn't matter because that's pre-season. What really matters is the very first game of the season. What's going to happen when you start playing? And boy, did those long balls from Chelsea from Palace give us problems. All game, they were punishing Ben, punishing him. I could not believe how terrible it was. But after all of that, what happened? We came out of it victorious with a great goal from Martinelli, set up by Zinchenko, and one of our new signings who has come on and has played amazingly well. Finally, we've allowed Saliba to play for us. We haven't sent him out on loan. We're actually playing him. It's amazing. We're actually playing one of our best central defenders, and it looks like Arsenal are on the road to improvement. I'm not going to say that we're suddenly going to be winning anything. I'm just going to say that we are improving. So, Chris, what's your take on that game? Did you get to see it?
Yeah, I did. Do you know, going to Selhurst Park is always a potential banana skin for
100%.
I think I spoke to you before, and I felt that with what you had done in pre-season and your transfers, I felt you'd win the game, if you remember. But I was not even surprised. I was really impressed with the fact that Arsenal people, and look, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I do appreciate football, right?
Yeah.
And people always go with the lazy journalism of Arsenal have a soft underbelly. They've got good footballers, but they're not always prepared for a battle. What I saw on Friday was Arsenal were well up for it, right? They were well
Definitely.
up. To me, once you went in front, you put it this way, you set the stall out within first 4 minutes. Martinelli should have scored.
I know that run from Jesus. He ran through. He just kept the ball at like glue, stayed at his feet, and he just had to pass it on. That could have potentially have been.
That's it.
1-0.
for me, the stall was already set up, and you could see Crystal Palace were like, we thought we could rough these guys up a little bit, but nah. And Saliba,
yeah,
boy, like, do you know what? Fair play. Like,
yeah.
I don't know whether it's the loans. I don't know whether it's he has matured, but I always thought he was decent. But
He's a good player.
Got a player there.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Jesus also, Shevchenko, I think they all played well.
We know his talents. The team in general, it clicked beautifully. The players that you brought in from, let's say, City, we know about their talent. Saliba, we didn't know. And you bring him against Crystal Palace away, long balls into the box. William Zaha, all that. No, Wilfred Zaha, all of that.
Yeah.
He comes away with man of the match and a clean sheet. What else can you ask for?
Oh, one definitely. Just a quick shout out to Keith. He says, I hate football. He said, I'm going to start watching bowls. And as Roger said, no, Keith, keep the faith. Keep the faith. But we'll get onto that. So just very quickly, Chris. So earlier on, I was sent a video and I want to quickly play it to you.
Of course.
This was supposedly after the Arsenal game.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, we're going to win the Champions League! We're going to win! I'm telling you! Boo! Don't do that! Boo!
I saw that video and I was laughing. Thank you. I think it was Rob who sent that on, and I must admit, I laughed my head off. It was so funny because that's an old video, and obviously the lad on there, he's passed away. But it's just typical that we started to show a little bit of confidence. Arsenal fans are starting to feel proud again, and suddenly, we're going to win the Champions League.
Oh, dear.
I must admit, I laughed when that happened. It just made me. I thought it was hilarious. It was just so funny. But you know what? That's the beauty of football. The banter. You know what I mean? You're a Liverpool fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. Do you know what I mean? We can still communicate. I haven't got to hate you because you support Liverpool. Exactly. I might be annoyed at you when your team beat us, but ultimately, you know what? We can still appreciate good football and having a good laugh. And that's what this show is about. It's about talking about good football, but also having a laugh when we do it.
Exactly.
So, there's a couple of more words on there. Unfortunately, Keith is now owning up to supporting Manchester United. Yes, he supports Manchester United. And don't worry, Keith, we'll get to your scoreline. Don't worry, we'll get there. We've got time. We're gonna break down that game that you played, because obviously I remember last season. I remember the grief that I received on that first game, that first win, that first loss. It's hard to take. I know it hurts. I know.
We do want to go to sleep tonight, mate.
Yeah. So, Nana said Saliba played like that last season and hence won French caps and young player of the French league. So
that's
this is
the reason why I don't understand why he went the first loan. Okay, I get it. I don't understand why he went for the second one. But yeah, the Arsenal fans, you know, get in touch with us. Let us know.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went the second time. Because didn't he come with another? He played alongside somebody else who's in the Prem.
Who was that? I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to.
Yeah, but the team he was in that you brought him from, he was alongside another Premiership defender, and that guy came straight over, and he was decent.
Yeah. So
if Saliba's better than him, I didn't understand why he went on loan for 2 years. But you know,
it's a very, very, very bizarre. I'm not entirely sure myself, too.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I'm just glad ultimately that whatever the politics around him being sent off on loan, he's now in an Arsenal shirt, and I hope that we can keep him, because you know that big teams will be looking and saying, "Whoa, he's good, he's young, and if he can make it in the Premier League, he can make it anywhere." So, you know, watch this space with him. But he is so it was Fofana.
Yes, at Leicester. That's right. That's it.
Fofana. So where did he go to Leicester? No,
he went to Leicester, and right now Chelsea are after him for between, I think it's 70 or 80 plus mil.
Wow.
You know, Saliba was, by all intents and purposes, better than him. So
yeah,
I don't understand. Listen, it's water under the bridge now. He's here and he's the boss. Yeah, there you go. Between 70 and 90 million.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So
I looked at him and I thought he's better. And I know this is going to be a bit of a, probably people say it's a reach. He's better from what I saw. His reading of the game and the way he, better than Van Dijk at that age. At that age that he's at now, better than Van Dijk, mate.
But then, to be fair, Van Dijk was in Scotland, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
before that, where was he? Where was he? He was in Holland.
In Holland before.
But then he was kind of under the radar, wasn't he? I think when Liverpool paid that amount of money for him, I was even surprised until I saw him play and then thought, wow, that's good money. That's good business.
But this guy that you've got now is better. So his ceiling, you've got to think, is higher.
Yeah,
right,
we
hope.
hope.
I mean, I think you've done well. But yes, he was at Celtic before.
He was at Celtic, quality player. And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing him develop. I'm looking forward to seeing Arteta develop him, and then and seeing how this goes. But I know we could talk about my team all afternoon, but we are not going to, because I need to show that I am not partial. And we will go to the next game. That was Liverpool playing Fulham. Now, on paper, and I'm not joking, I saw this as an away win with maybe a cricket score, because I thought that Liverpool will run Fulham ragged. I thought this is going to be embarrassing. And then Mitrovic just started to play football. And it just seemed like Liverpool were not able to deal with him. It was almost like he was able to bully your central defenders. But obviously, I would like your take. What's your take on the way in which that game panned out? And did you at any point think that maybe you might, get a late goal to win the game in the end? What was your take?
Okay. And this is why football is so fascinating. That game, everybody else would look at it and say it's an away win banker, right? We haven't won there since Rafa. And the game that we had against them there.
Hold on, say that again. You've not won a game at Fulham since Rafa Benitez.
But no, wait, let me see. No, hold on.
That's not right.
Rafa. Yeah. No, Brendan. Sorry.
Since
Brendan. Yeah, Brendan.
Wow. Brendan. Okay, so Craven Cottage is actually a fortress.
Yes.
When
we go to play them there, I mean, even Rafa's days, we went 2-0 down, we won 4-2. The Brendan Rodgers game, we ended up getting a last-minute penalty, very, very soft, 1-3-2. Right? Yeah. Last few minutes. Last time we played them under Jurgen when we were going for the title against City, a last-minute penalty, James Milner. We don't play well there at all.
Right.
The last two visits, I think we lost them both. It's not making excuses, because ultimately, in the race for the title or the top four, as I see it this year, dropping what would be deemed as dropping points so early will come back to bite you. It will come back to bite you. For me, though, this was more a point gain than 2 lost, because we were awful. We were very arrogant. I think we felt as the same as many other people thought, that we're going to turn up and we're going to get that 3 points, and Fulham were up for it. In terms of Mitrovic, did he really bully the central defenders? His first goal was against Trent at the back post. That's not bullying a central defender. That's, Trent, I don't think he even clocks that he's there. And
they say that, didn't they? He wasn't even looking. He was looking goal bound. He didn't know that Mitrovic was behind him. But then the trickery of the penalty decision, where he switched on VVD, did you see that as a clear penalty, or was the jury out on that one?
No. Once there's contact, I think
the touch knee.
Once we like it or not, the attacker has the right to go down. So to me, VVD is he's very calm in the things that he does, right? But in that instance, he left too much space for Mitrovic to do that, to pretend he's going to go one way and then cut the other way. And usually, if you do that outside the box, it's not a problem. VVD probably gets his foot in and gets rid of the ball. He's unfortunate this time. This is the first time in however many years you can forgive him for that. It was, for me, it was a penalty, 100%.
Okay, but your Liverpool's resolve with Núñez and Salah. Núñez had attempted that back kick literally nanoseconds before. He said, "Right, do you know what? I missed the first time. I'm going to try that same thing again," and he did it. And obviously, he's a striker who's happy. He's in form. I know there was a bit of abuse the way he was celebrating the Charity Shield, but you know what? Fair play to him. He's come to another country and he's scoring goals. And Liverpool have paid him a lot of money to come over and do just that. And he's filling big shoes that Mane has left. So, fair play to him. It looks like Liverpool, fair enough, they may have already dropped points, but they were going to now I understand, going to a ground that they don't get much, a good result from. And to get a 2-2, they haven't lost.
Listen, it could have been worse because Fulham played well, but if you also look at the other side of it, we hit a post twice.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Oh, Henderson. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
we wouldn't have deserved it. I can say that we wouldn't have deserved it. So 2-2, you take it and you run. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. But still, you can see that the core of the team is still there. There's no issues there. Liverpool will be, fighting for the title. They will be in the top, 2. It's a foregone conclusion.
To begin with, top 4. That's how
they will be. See, the thing is, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. Yes, other teams have strengthened, other teams have improved, but I still think that the most dominant teams in the Prem, as we have seen, are Liverpool and City. And they will be the teams that you will need to beat to win the Premier League. So, that was that game. Then we go into the 3:00 kickoffs. We'll start straight off with the Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Bournemouth coming up, obviously, from the Championship. I wondered whether or not, how they would do, because obviously this is, they've been there before, but, they don't have the same sort of money that a lot of the other big clubs have. They are going to be having to seriously dig deep into their own youth system. But I'm saying that they beat Aston Villa and actually played really well.
Right.
And actually, I was quite surprised at how easy it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Villa did have a couple of shots on target. They were pressing. Ings had a couple of shots that I saw just, spun off. But ultimately, Bournemouth have said, we're not going to lose at home and we will play ugly. It reminded me of Wimbledon. But my question to you is this. Of the teams that came up, do you think Bournemouth potentially, or obviously it was Fulham, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth. So of those 3 teams, which one of them do you think is the weak link? Which one do you think will struggle the most in the Premiership this season?
If you want me to, it's a tough one because I just think that the gap the gap between the Premiership and the Championship, it just widens all the time. I think all 3 of them will struggle. But if you ask me who's likely to finish last out of the 3 of them, it's actually a toss-up between Bournemouth and
Forest.
Not Forest.
Not Forest. I was expecting you to say Forest.
No, I still think Forest will struggle. But the other 2, they have Premiership experience. They're like Norwich to me. Both of those teams are like Norwich to me. They come up. Apologies
to any Norwich fans that have just tuned in.
Norwich are they're a well-run club, right? They know that they are too good for the Championship, but just not good enough for the Premiership. But they won't chase the dream for a couple of years to stay up and then go down and then keep plummeting. Like
plus those payments they get for going down help.
Yeah, and that's Bournemouth and Fulham for me. They will play it safe, right? They'll play it safe. They'll get like yesterday's result for Aston Villa. Actually, is awful. It's an awful result for Aston Villa.
Yeah, definitely.
To lose to Bournemouth is not good. So to me, it's about their home form. Fulham will get themselves up for certain games, but I see them being a team who want to play football, and they'll just leak too many. They should have won yesterday. They should have won.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think you in the vote of our guests that are in. Most have said Forest. So Roger has gone Forest. Sadly, too many changes to the team.
Yes.
Obviously, they spent a lot of money. Forest has spent a lot of money. And Mark Fraser said, I agree, Forest will go back down. So it'll be interesting at the very last episode. We will look back on this episode and say my take on I think the teams that will go down. I think Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest are the two teams that I think won't make it. And I actually think that Leeds will join them. I do. I think even though Leeds won yesterday, I still think that they did not, they've got Bamford back because he's been away all season, but they sold their midfielder to City. What's his name? They sold Phillips to City, and I feel like that was the worst bit of business they could possibly have done. I mean, I knew they couldn't keep him. I knew that they could not keep him.
Yeah.
But you had to do your very best to not let him go, because a fit Phillips and a fit Bamford could potentially keep you out of the relegation battle. Now, and with who's the other one that left? Was it
Rafinha? Yeah.
With him going means who do they identify with now? And that to me is going to be. But you know what? This is where I say to you that's my bottom three. My bottom three are Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and I think Leeds.
Okay.
But then, Newcastle only turned it around. No. Let me finish. Newcastle only turned it around at the end of the season. They obviously found the form that pushed them out of the relegation, and obviously they've got the money, they've got funds. They've got a good manager there now who's been given the opportunity to grow the team. So I don't worry about them so much. Now, I don't feel like Newcastle are a problem. But I think that the likes of Leeds, I think Wolves as well, Wolves are always going to be mid-table. I think they're not a problem. I don't think Southampton are a problem either, because Southampton have a good home record. Southampton are very good at playing at home.
Southampton and Everton right now are the teams that I'm looking at and I'd worry about, right?
Everton, though, have, I'm going to use this word again, pedigree. They do. Everton, I can't see. Do you know what? I can see them getting rid of Lampard.
Ooh.
I could see them getting rid of Lampard if he, obviously they've lost to Chelsea, but I don't think the owners are saying, the owners said to themselves, you know what? We've sold our striker to Tottenham. We haven't replaced.
That is the reason why.
Yeah.
If the window closes and they don't get someone else, that is why I'm saying Everton everywhere else generally are a Premiership team.
Yeah.
But Richarlison, for the little goals he scored last season and the forward play, did enough to help him, and Pickford did enough to help them to stay up. Right.
Definitely.
He's now gone.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin is injured. Right?
I know.
They've played Gordon up front. He's only played half a season in the Premier League, right? Coming up against the likes of Saliba and I was going to say John Terry, Koulibaly, and all these players, and you think he's going to give you the goals that keep mid-table? No chance. If they don't get a striker, Everton can spend all they want. They will be down at the bottom with the rest of the guys. I worry even for Villa, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I think their midfield is weak. And I think their attack is weak.
But do you know what? Villa they've got Gerrard. Gerrard knows what he's doing. And I think that as bad as Villa may be, there are teams worse than them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I think that Villa are a very strong proposition at home. They've beaten Liverpool at home. They've beaten some big teams. So I think that, and up until Wait, they could have.
Oh, when was this?
It was Liverpool. Yeah, it was. I'll have to go back now and check. But I remember up until a few minutes into the second half, I thought that Aston Villa were going to be kingmakers and they were going to decide the league.
Oh yeah.
They were playing out of their skin against City and playing well. So I don't see Villa as being. In fact, you know what? I don't know if you remember. I've got this weird flashback of Aston Villa scoring lots of goals against Liverpool, like beating you.
But that was two seasons ago.
Was that? Yeah. So this is my point. My point is that Aston Villa, I don't see being that team that won't do something like that would stop them from staying up. I feel like they would definitely stay up. And obviously, I've got and actually, Roger's put on there. Forest, Leeds, and Bournemouth. Yeah, that was pretty much my. I just kind of think that. I just think that as much as the funds are there, it's not just about money. It's not just about you've got Forest had a fantastic cup run last year. Fantastic cup run, and that's what was the trigger for them to do well in the league. Because at the beginning of the season, they were garbage. They had to get rid of their manager. They got in a new guy, and he turned them around. Yeah. Well, he's now being given the keys. He's got the reins for a whole season.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be a whole season of hurt. But you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Because Nottingham Forest, you could never you could never rule them out. If we move on and we add. Oh, sorry. No, done that wrong. Apologies there. We are going to put in the next game, which we've kind of talked about. Obviously, Wolverhampton took the lead with that crazy volley where he kicked the ball into the ground. It bounced up, went straight into the goal. And I thought, oh no, Wolves might take it here. But for a fantastic bit of, a cross from Bamford, he passed it over to Rodrigo. He scores. Then you've got an own goal, very fortuitous own goal. Because when I saw the goal, I thought, how did he? It took skill to bend his foot and score the goal. I just thought that's quality, the way he did that. But sometimes own goals look that way.
Yeah.
Leeds are going to struggle. And they are going to, but I can't say it now because obviously they're on the up. Their home game, they've won the game. They've got 3 points on the board. Maybe that will be the difference to catapult them. Who knows? I'm looking forward to seeing just what happens, how this plays out. And you and I, we are observers from the outside. Who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. We don't know. So then, obviously, the next game, which we didn't really talk about, was the Newcastle-Nottingham Forest. Newcastle have they have unbelievable amount of money behind them. Unbelievable players. Wilson scores. I think it's his third season in a row that he has scored on the opening game of the season. They are they're a good outfit.
Could I ask you could I ask you a question about Newcastle?
Go for it. Away the lads. Great start for the Magpies.
Is there anyone, and I mean, I don't mean it in a harsh way, is there anyone that you, in their team, that you would like in your first 11? Not your squad, your first 11.
No.
Right. So.
No, I mean, when you said that, I mean, don't get me wrong, their winger, I think, is quality.
Maximum.
Maximum. Yeah, I it's funny. I think he's very, very good. I think sometimes he runs into down cul-de-sacs because he's a baller. He wants to dribble. He wants to run with the ball. Once he learns that the direct route to goal scores goals, I feel like he will be the finished article. At the moment, he does these fancy football and he's just blistering pace. He can turn the sixpence. He's quality. He's just, honestly, he is quality. And you say, but then would I have him over Martinelli? Would I have him over Saka? I don't know if I would.
Right.
But I would have him in my squad.
Of course.
Then I would have Welbeck in my squad because I love Welbeck. I was sad to see him go.
I think most people look at Newcastle and they've got, they're a good team and whatever. But
yeah,
Eddie Howe, I don't know what he's done, right? But when you talk about form, and don't quote me here, but I think when he took charge and whatever else, they certainly were in the top 6 in terms of form.
Yeah.
Right? And he didn't really buy anybody that you'd say, I want in my first 11.
No.
Yet from the time he took over to the end of the season,
around.
They were, in terms of form, definitely no more than, they were not out of the top 6. So their form tells you that if they got certain players just in the right places, if they maintain the same form, Newcastle for me are a dark horse, European football, because
whoa, come on, slow down.
No. Hear me out.
Put the brakes on here. Are you telling me that you are going to put Newcastle in the top 6?
Top 7.
Are you going to put them in the top 7?
Top 7. Yeah. I'm putting Newcastle top 7 because the only team really that you're looking at and you're saying, West Ham have another season of Europa League, right? Or Europa Conference, whatever it is.
Oh, sorry, I just missed it. Sorry, I must apologize. A few comments here. Peter Window Cleaner says I would like Bruno.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Guimaraes.
Yes, Guimaraes. And Mark Fraser says that Joel Linton was the biggest improved player. Yeah, because he was a striker, and then they put him in midfield, and he's just box to box. Amazing. So Joe Linton and Bruno G in Arsenal midfield with Ødegaard and Partey would be awesome.
Well,
I'm still hoping out for the Leicester midfielder.
Whoa. We're on Newcastle at the moment. We're on Newcastle.
Right? So anyway.
Me, I think that when you look at what he has done with with most of the same players that he inherited, if he gets what he's asking for in those right places, why are they worse than West Ham? To me, their form was better than West Ham's in the second half of the season. From very, very far back, right?
Yeah.
To me, they're definitely a top half team. I don't see why they can't push for Europe when they don't have Europe. That's all I'm saying. Just don't be surprised if Newcastle are knocking around the top half, because what people fail to realize is top 6 is difficult to beat those teams. But ultimately, everybody under that thinks they're just all the same level. So ultimately, if you're the best of the rest, right, you give yourself a fighting chance. It's not about beating City. If you pick up points against City, Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, great, right? But really, you got to beat everybody else. So Newcastle, Villa losing yesterday is terrible. Newcastle winning, that's brilliant, because now you keep doing that, nicking points off of those teams down there, you be the best of the rest. And I just don't see Everton battling. I don't see Villa doing it. I think it's going to be Newcastle. I think the feel-good factor at that club is he signed a new contract as well, the manager. I think be very afraid.
Well, I actually thought that he was going to be like a caretaker in lieu of them getting a key managerial signing. But he's earned the right to be where he is. Mark Fraser says, Magpies like glittery object. Don't think it will be long till we see some silverware at St. James's Park. And Eddie Howe has done a great job, Chris. He has. But my issue wasn't whether or not done a good job or not, because I think he has. My issue was, are they good enough to now be talking about Europe? Or more importantly, do they have a big enough squad to handle the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and having to deal with European journey? That's a big ask.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that teams like West Ham, suffered last season
Yes.
because of the size of their squad was nowhere near big enough, but they were going so well in Europe. But then near the end of the season, they just started to tail off because they just could not deal with the number of players, number of games that just kept coming thick and fast.
Sorry, last point.
Yes, please, go for it.
What we saw Newcastle do, which was clever, and the fact is that they can now do again, is they're a massive club in terms of English football, 100%. Right? The stadium is, for want of a better word, a cathedral in that city. And they can go and get players who are doing well at relegation-threatened teams and teams in the bottom half. They did it with Chris Wood. He is the reason why Burnley got relegated. Let's keep that one on.
Because they picked him out, took away. Yeah, and no disrespect, but he's more of a... I wouldn't say he's the most skillful player, but he's someone you can aim a ball at. And because Burnley no longer had someone to aim at, it made me think, did they strategically buy him so that, well, now that they haven't got him,
this is it. Like, if they wanted to, they could just go and say, you know what, we need some creativity. Philippe Coutinho, please. Thank you. And that's the point. Newcastle now, they don't have to, at this moment, compete with, let's say, the European qualified clubs. They've just got to be better than those in and around them. So if they see someone who's doing a decent job, we'll take him for 6 months and then we can loan him off when we're done with him. They can do what the teams before them have done. Man City built like that, Chelsea built like that. They can do that. And that's why I say, just don't be surprised. If January things are not going according to plan, they will buy 4 or 5 players.
Okay, so guess what we have got? Greetings from Cardiff. Greetings to you, Rob Dogs. Robert Myers, thank you so much for joining the stream.
Is that anniversary or is it just good times?
It's just, well, I'll let him tell you that. but yes, welcome to the stream from Cardiff. So we have representation from Wales, representation from Scotland, and representation from England as well. We want to grow this channel. We want to get some international friends. So tell your friends who are in the other side of the world to come in and join us. And his father says, Yakida, son. Don't know what that means, but I think I'm saying it right. Yakida. Yes. So we'll move on to the next game. Not that I really want to talk about them, but I feel like I have no choice.
What, the title challenges? The title North London, yeah.
No. Just I hate them. Anyway, we're going to talk about Tottenham now. Tottenham, they played Southampton, so both were singing the Saints, even though Southampton are the true ones.
Oh dear.
Tottenham singing, they went 1-0 down to a James Ward-Prowse, not a free kick, but it was still a volley, quality player. Put him anywhere near that box with a volley or a free kick, and it's like a penalty. He will score. But Tottenham, who, like Arsenal, have been known for the years to be having that, as you said, soft underbelly, they are not that animal anymore. No. Tottenham are a team that will need to be recognized. Now, I saw in the news yesterday that Eric Dyer hasn't scored for years and years and years, and he was 125-1 to score, and someone put a bet on for him, and they made themselves a very, very tidy sum because on 31 minutes he scored with his head. Kulusevski, where do we start with him? I'm sorry, but when Conte brought him to Tottenham last season, I was worried. Because I thought then that this Kulusevski is big in the game. He is quality. I hate to say it. He's quality. And he's so much quality that now, you can have Son on the left, you can have Kane up front, and now they've got Kulusevski on the right. He is a beast.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm looking forward to? Tottenham are playing Chelsea next week. Oh my goodness, Tottenham and play and obviously that is going to be a cracker of a game. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of that. It is going to be an absolute cracker of a game.
But surely Chelsea still beat them, no?
Well, Chelsea fans, if you are, what do you reckon is going to be the scoreline next week when you play Tottenham Hotspur?
Because Tottenham haven't. I mean, what they've done at the back? What work have they? What
I think what they've done at the back is they have. I'll tell you what they've done at the back.
Go on.
They've got Conte. He's a defensively minded manager.
Yeah,
he's
very true.
He's a manager that drills defense. When he was at Chelsea, did he not win the league with a boring team? Didn't everyone say that Chelsea were boring, but they won the league? Playing they boring, quality, but still defensive football. He has done the same thing at Tottenham. And though I hate to admit it, they are going to be a force. I don't think they're just going to be an also ran. I think they are going to be a force. And this could be the time for their trophy cabinet. Empty as it is, this could be the moment where they actually get something. Maybe a League Cup, could be the FA Cup. They won't win the league, but they are definitely going to be a major player. And it wouldn't surprise me if they are in the top 5 for the whole season. Because what I saw yesterday frightened me. I thought, wow.
It's Southampton. Southampton they are, I'm sorry to say that they're going to be struggling all season. They're not good.
Southampton, Southampton, on the other hand, have always been like this. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Southampton could go, and you've seen it, because I've seen it every season. They do this thing where they win 6 games at home. They just win all their games at home, and they'll beat everybody, but they'll just can't, buy a win away from home.
Yeah.
I think at home, Southampton are strong enough that they won't be battling in the relegation, but I think that they will be close to it.
Of course.
If they're going to leak goals like what I saw yesterday, definitely. But then when they play at home, they're a different animal. And we will have to see what happens.
This team conceded 9, bro. They're not serious. Like, concede 9.
How many times? How many times? Seriously, how many times have you seen Southampton, right? Like, get Leicester wiped them out. Like, I thought after that Leicester game, I thought, oh man, Southampton needs to just retire. Like, say we are no longer going to play in the league. We're just going to go down to the conference or somewhere else. But then they turn it around.
Man. They're a weird team. I think they'll struggle, but they won't get relegated.
No, they will not.
It's so weird. I don't know.
No, they will not go down. No. But Kulusevski is
big player.
He's quality. I can see them really, as much as I hate to say it, I can see Tottenham really being a major player. And the scary thing is that I have a lot of Tottenham friends, unfortunately, and they will be going, I can't believe you're saying that, Johnny, but I respect football for what it is. Liverpool are a quality team. Man City are a quality team. They have been leading the line. Chelsea are also a quality team. They are leading the line. There is a lot of clubs now that are getting there. I think Tottenham, I think Arsenal, I think the likes of, you mentioned Newcastle. I think these teams are getting there. United, I don't know about them, but I think that there are lots of teams that are slowly starting to get it together. And I think what I saw yesterday with the way Tottenham played, and we know it was Southampton. What will be interesting is to see what they do with Chelsea next week, because next week they will be playing a big boy. They're playing a quality, well-drilled, well-oiled team in Chelsea. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have the popcorn because I know there'll be red cards. I'm looking forward because the hatred between those two clubs is just beautiful to watch. I just love it.
I think it's good to see. I mean, it's for years when your team, listen, I don't know that experience, so let me just humble myself. But when your team is at the top, right?
Yeah.
Most teams have only had one contender, right? I would love to see Arsenal, basically the top 5 of last year. I would love to see them all going hammer and tongs, right? And then may the best team win. I would love to see that, right? Everybody's in it. We come to April. It's not just those 2 teams. It's all of them. And they're all in the semi-finals of the different tournaments. I'd love to see that because that is what football's all about, right? And like you said, the banter would flow and whatever. But let's be honest, we all support different teams, and your heart probably can't take it, and you just want to be clear. Do you know what I mean? You just want to be at the top and be clear and be happy. But I would love to see all those 5 teams of last year get there again. Obviously, I like a particular different order. Of course I would, right? But that top 5, I'd like it. Sorry for the Newcastle fans and United. I'll get to them afterwards. But if that top 5 stays the same, maybe a different order, I'm happy with that.
So Roger has said that Koulibaly, I think it's Koulibaly, he will shackle Kulusevski. I think he's saying that when they play next week, Kulusevski won't have the space he had in the game yesterday because he's going to be playing against quality Koulibaly. We'll see. And he says, I'll say 3-1 to the world champs.
And I think that's a fair shot.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We will see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get my popcorn ready for that game. And unfortunately, my wife has just stepped in and said, "Come on, you Blues."
Let's be honest, mate. Let's be honest. If they continue to put the pieces in the jigsaw, right? They're not going to be. They're in the mix. For me, they're in the mix.
Yeah,
you got to be honest. If they continue to do the work that they've done, I think their transfer dealings thus far have been good. Right,
yeah.
A couple more, they'd be excellent, and then we're going to say, right, we've got problems here because they're a title challenger again. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So her dad has said, "I'm so proud of her." Oh dear. Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to quickly go and talk about the other London club, little known club somewhere in West London called Chelsea.
You are very rude. The only London club to win the Champions League, not once but twice.
This little known club, that's in the shadow of Fulham.
Oh, you are
rude. Chelsea, they played away to Everton, and they scraped a 1-0 win via the penalty box.
Tell me you didn't watch the game without telling me you didn't watch the game.
Yeah, scraped. No, it was literally it was just them knocking on the door for the whole game. But what were you impressed with? Oh my goodness, what's his name? Sterling. Yeah, were you impressed with Sterling? How do you think he played? What do you think that he's going to be the missing piece?
Yes, I think. Listen, Sterling is a quality footballer, and in terms of their spine, they've got the pieces right. I think if they can get my man from Barcelona, if they're really in for him, Frankie de Jong, FDJ, if they get him in, I think brilliant piece of business. Listen, how can you have someone like Chilwell and then go and spend money on another quality left back or left wing back? Chelsea are here. They mean business, bro. They mean business.
Oh, we're talking about the one they got from Brighton.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's pace. Do you know what? When I saw that game yesterday, initially I was like, this guy's quick. He's not just quick. He's rapid.
Yeah.
And can cross.
Yeah.
A pinpoint ball.
Yeah.
So that is very good business.
Yeah.
From very good business.
Chelsea don't tend to miss, bro. And this guy, because it's his first window, he's coming correct. Let's keep it 100. Like Chelsea, people were like, "Oh, they're moving slow and blah blah." I knew Chelsea weren't going to miss. They're not going to do what they did in maybe the previous regime of just buying players. They're going to buy the right players for what they're trying.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Listen, I heard a madness. They're talking about Frankie de Jong, Aubameyang. Like, I'm thinking, what? Like,
honestly,
if they do that, it's a problem.
Barcelona have got major issues because they can't register any of those players that they've just bought. They can't register any of them. So now it's a fire sale, and you've got Chelsea there going, hoo, 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 and they're going to clean up. And I would imagine that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would hate to see Aubameyang running against us. Oh man,
Aubameyang, and he'll be wound up to show you.
I know. Why did we get rid of him? And dear. But yes. So And Roger said, yeah, very true, Roger. K2. So who's K1? Because I know they've got K. Isn't it the back? Who's the Ks? What's their? I can't figure their names now, but it's K2. I only knew it was K2 because I remember Robert saying to me that the three of the back line could be KKK.
Oh my!
I can't think what they are.
Oh, yeah, no, but they didn't get Kunde, did they?
They didn't get Kunde, right? Exactly. That was it. That's why I was thinking. I couldn't think of who that last person was.
Yeah.
So basically, Chelsea, they get 3 points. Obviously, they beat Lampard's team. Where you think that Everton are, Everton are obviously going to struggle this season.
If they get a gunman, I think they'll be fine.
But the window's not closed yet, though.
Yeah, that's it.
The transfer window isn't closed.
Get a striker who will get you close to between 18 and 20 Prem goals.
Yeah.
If you could do that, right, at a good price, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we go on to the next game, I'm just going to play a very quick video. Bear with me.
English Premier League. Manchester United.
Oh man, I've been wanting to put that up for so long.
You are very rude. You are very, very rude.
Manchester United in the theatre of dreams. Manchester United with Ronaldo. Manchester United with their quality that they have could not even score a goal today. Brighton and Hove Albion scored all three of them, but it did end up 2-1 to Brighton. Ouch. Oh, I can see the hate. I can feel the hate. I can feel the hate coming towards me from the United fans. I can see pro United. Yes, laughing stock, sir. Laughing stock. How did they allow themselves to be beaten at home by Brighton FC? So, Chris, what's your take on the game today? Theatre of nightmares.
To be honest, I don't even know where to start. I actually don't know where to start. They started well, and I thought Brighton are going to be in for a long day. Then just a couple of mistakes here and there, a couple of loose passes, and it just went back to last season. Jadon Sancho tried. Rashford should have buried a couple. Oh goodness, he missed a couple really good chances. But in general, the defense was the same. The midfield was the same, right?
Harry Maguire.
And I'm just like, but it's one game. All I'd say is it's one game. If you come in as a new manager, it's not always easy working with somebody else's players. So there's 37 more games to go.
Obviously,
let's keep it real. They're not out the title race yet. You just never know. So enjoy if you want to do that kind of thing and you want to banter them. By all means do so. But just be careful. That's all I'm saying. A wounded tiger it don't play games. Do you understand? They didn't expect to lose that game today.
No, not at all. I didn't expect them to lose. I thought that it was going to be a comfortable home win to to introduce Ten Hag to the Prem, but there was a lot of issues in that game. As Mark Fraser said, they didn't know how to cope with the chopping and changing of Brighton's tactics. And actually, I just felt it was very much a case of Gross being gross. He was just unplayable at times, and he's not.
How long did you think that up?
Oh man, that's been in my book of puns for some time. Been waiting to say this. Gross has been gross. But yes, Ten Hag is. There's a quote here. Ten Hag will come good. He needs to learn who he can trust. Yes, and as you know, later on in that game, he put on Van der Beek, who he also managed when in their Ajax days, I believe.
Yep, that's right.
Ajax days. So obviously this is a work in progress. I don't think United had a very bad preseason. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, they spanked up.
I think they came into the Premier League with a bit of confidence. Maybe too overconfident. And Brighton have done it to Arsenal. They've beat, they went through a period where they were just beating all the big teams. So they raised their game, and they obviously have done it on the opening game. And that's 3 points now lost at home. So, I apologize to all of my United fans for that quote, but it was sent to me, and I just thought I have to share it. I have to share that because obviously it is it was just I just thought it's so funny, so it had to be shared. Anyway, let's carry on with only a couple more games left to talk about. Leicester, they played Brentford, went 2-0 up, 2-0. But the team that came, Brentford were always that nearly team. How many seasons did they struggle to get into the Prem? How many times did they just not make it? Falling, at the last hurdle in the playoff, tailing off at the end of the season. They finally make it to the Prem, and they have been like a thorn in the side of so many teams. They are so hard to beat and break down. And when you look at their team, you don't see a team full of, quality in a sense of, named players. But yet, what do you think it is that they have, why they have continued to be so successful in the Premier League?
I think it's something that Roger alluded to earlier on about Forest. Forest have made a lot of changes. So we have to wait and see if they gel. I think with Brentford, anytime they missed out, the person who they would sell is the striker. They'd sell the striker, get someone else in, and then they would make sure that the rest of the team, the nucleus, stayed. Right? Yeah. Because I think the guy at Brighton, who you guys do not like playing against, what is his name?
Who's that?
Neil Mopay or whatever.
Oh, Mope. Oh,
yeah. He was the first. Ugh. They didn't come up. He gets sold. They went and got Ollie Watkins. They don't come up again. Ollie Watkins gets sold. Then they get Ivan Toney. And now this time they've come up with Ivan Toney. And then, so they've kept the nucleus of their squad, right? And I think that sprinkled with a little bit of Christian Eriksen ability helped them to stay up. I think we'll see how they do this year, but surely they are better equipped than the likes of Forest, Fulham, and Bournemouth. Hence why they may struggle, but probably won't go down.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think, obviously Brentford, being the new boys in the Prem, they're not the new boys anymore. But I still think that what Mark Fraser says, they play with heart and for the badge. But he also adds, but I think they will miss Eriksen this year because he helped them so much last season. Correct. Now, that is true. And it will be interesting to see what they do middle of the season when, obviously winter games away to some of the more difficult teams like Newcastle. It's going to be those games where they're going to need to claw out where they would have lost before. They need to claw out a draw. And it'd be very interesting to see how that turns out. So the very last...
Could we make mention about Leicester, though? I mean, can I, without talking about Tielemans for a second?
Why? You shut me down when I was going to talk to you about him earlier.
No. We'll cut because we will come to him in it. But how do you feel about Leicester?
I think Brendan Rodgers is a very good manager. And I think that if he does that, if he even thinks of letting Maddison go to Newcastle and Tielemans goes to Arsenal, then Leicester will free fall down the table. That's my own take. I think that when I heard that Newcastle was sniffing around Maddison, I thought that's dangerous. That's like Everton selling Richarlison. They can't. There's certain players that you must not let go. And if you are, then you need to make sure that you buy good.
But doesn't that tell you something, right, about Leicester? And this is why I asked the question and I wanted us to talk about them. For me, they've got problems. And I think they've got problems that the rest of us are not aware of. I don't know.
What do you mean by what?
I don't know if it's behind the scenes or if it's management. But every end of the season, they trail off. They always trail off. They did win the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago, but their league form always goes off a cliff.
Isn't that because of the size of the squad?
Maybe, but then if you know when it happens the first time, you address it. They never do. They made it into Europe. They made it into the semi-finals or quarterfinals last year of European football. So you know your team's going to be stretched. Why did they not get reinforcements? And now what we're seeing is instead of getting those reinforcements, they're actually letting players go. So their right back is now injured for 6 months. Right? He had an operation. He's out for 6 months.
Yeah.
Madison, if Newcastle paid the money, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
If Arsenal paid the money for Tielemans, he is gone. Schmeichel has left.
Yeah.
Right? He has left.
To Nice.
Right. Yeah, to Nice. And I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking, hold on a sec.
Where's the key players? Yeah.
Where are the players? Where's the nucleus? What, you're relying on Jamie Vardy, who cannot stay fit for a whole season?
I know.
I think Leicester have got bigger problems than they're letting on, personally. And I think...
Okay, well, do you know what? That'll be interesting to see. I think that if, obviously, the transfer window isn't closed yet, and so if there's going to be any business, you know, if Tielemans is going to come to Arsenal, if Maddison's going to Newcastle, or if anybody else is going to be going, it will be interesting to see what they can do to replace them.
Yeah.
So, but I can't see it because I don't think Leicester are going to go down, but I think Leicester are a little bit negative, and I think that this is maybe maybe the bigger clubs are sensing now that the key players that they've been able to keep are now prime for being purchased. So we'll see.
I agree.
We will see.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very last game of the
weren't there two more? We spoke about United already. Sorry, my bad.
My bad. So we had West Ham United playing at home against the champions. All eyes were obviously on Erling Haaland, because obviously he didn't do well in the Charity Shield and he got a bit of grief over that. But he has started his Premier League with a brace. West Ham obviously are a very good team. They are European stock, but they just got overwhelmed by a very strong, very resolute City side. Now I know that obviously they are the champions, but do you see them retaining the title this season at a canter, or do you think it's going to be a lot harder than everybody says it will be? Because obviously, just before the first kick of the Charity Shield, everyone was saying that Haaland is going to, destroy every defense in the country, and then he came up against Liverpool and kind of was put in a box.
No, he could have scored. He skied one at the end. He could have skied. He could have scored. Shouldn't have skied that one.
You mean, it was just out of his reach. He tried to. He tried to sort. He was off balance. He was even in the air actually.
But champions, okay. Manchester City, they'll win the league. They just have the know-how. They have a good enough squad to deal with injuries and loss of form and whatever else. And they've bought a number 9. They had a number 9, don't get me wrong.
Do City know how to play with a number 9? Wasn't that broken down in obviously not in the game today, but when you played Liverpool, they still were playing as if he didn't exist. How many through balls were passed sideways when if you'd have just played it direct and let him run onto that ball, there's a good chance he would have scored. But what happened? They kept playing sideways.
One game is not a chasm for the whole season.
True.
Right? So for me, when people were saying, "Oh, Haaland this, Haaland that," or Nunes this, that's a load of nonsense. At the end of the day, these players have played at 70% maybe in 6 games of pre-season, right?
Yeah.
We're now starting the season. We're not even at the business end, right? And Haaland has shown his class. He's shown his ability. And that is why, for me, they will start as favourites, because they didn't just buy him, they bought another number 9. So they are willing to adapt because they bought 2 number 9s. They already had one, they just didn't utilise him, right? And he's gone to Arsenal. They now have bought 2. They clearly are saying, we're going to change tact. Can you imagine when De Bruyne and Rodri and Gundogan start to see his runs and they start spreading balls through to him and to the Alvarez? It's finished, right? Because at the end of the day, what you said about Liverpool put him in a box, it's Liverpool. No disrespect to all the other teams, right?
No.
But Liverpool
it's going to be much harder. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, Liverpool have Van Dijk. Chelsea got Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. Arsenal got Saliba, right? I'm not going to say Tottenham. That's no disrespect. But the other teams, brother, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
City win the league because they batter those teams.
Yeah.
It's not because they batter the rest. They will batter those teams, because those teams will be like, oh my goodness, that's Holland. Oh my days, what am I going to do? He scores 6. City scores 6. Do you understand? That's where they win the league for me, right? And that is why they will still be the champions, because the other teams will just try to hold out. Do you remember the days when Burnley will play Man City? And you're thinking, oh my goodness, Burnley's a test for any team. Never for City. They spank them 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah.
Because they don't try to score. They're just like, sit back and don't concede. And then once they concede the first one, there's no plan B. They score 4, 5. That's why
it will be interesting. As you said, it's only one game. They've definitely used him more in the West Ham game, and there was a lot more of those through ball runs that I saw Haaland going on to, where they're understanding. Because I think that, Man City for many, many years, so obviously with Aguero it's slightly different, because obviously Aguero was a beast of a goal scorer, but even he eventually fell foul of Guardiola's style of play, and they played for a long time without a recognizable striker with much success. They now, as you said, have got a very one of the best strikers in the world up front, and he will definitely score lots and lots of goals for them. Just a few comments from the chat. Mark says Haaland is going to become a very well marked man. Yes, he will be. So if no injuries, Haaland will score 20 to 25 league goals, which is pretty amazing, don't you think? If he were to do that, it would really set the pattern for everyone else to follow. But I think he's not going to be the only one. I think there'll be a lot of strikers that will score a lot of goals this season. And I think that he's not the only one that's going to be, and as you said, if he's not injured, because one thing I do know and do remember was actually quite a lot of his time in Germany, he was injured.
But he's fun, man. When he plays,
that's true. He definitely scores.
He'll bang, he'll bang.
Yeah, so sorry, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us in the stream today. Mark said he's got to go up the road, so you take care.
And all the best to Celtic as well. Come on.
Yes, exactly. Now, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that bell so you'll always be notified when we upload new content. And as the ticker says, don't be shy. If you're in the audience, please leave us a comment so we can say hi.
And tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you want to talk about as well. We're more
100%
than to get you involved. And this season, myself and Johnny, we were talking offline. We want more interaction. So if there's things you want to see, if there's discussions you want us to have, and it's not just a roundup, let us know. Just let us know.
Definitely. Oh, Haaland was man of the match. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So
can I ask you then, Johnny? We've gone with our 3 relegation candidates. We haven't got the wider group today, but
no.
In your view, top 5. You don't have to be in any order. Who's your top
5? So obviously City, Liverpool. I'm gonna say Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say Arsenal.
Yeah. I'm the
And I
same.
think that's going to be my top 5.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know in what order that will be,
Same.
but I think that will be the top 5. And am I right in saying that there's 5 teams that go into the Champions League this season?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't.
Okay. I've heard that they're changing the rules. I can't remember what the rules are changed to. We actually talked about this last season where they were saying that they were going to change it and increase the size of from 32 teams to 36.
But I'm not sure if that's now.
Now, okay.
Well,
picture it this way. I still think that the battle for Champions League is going to heat up, and I think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs this season. It's going to be good to see. I'm looking forward to it. Next week's games are gonna be awesome. As I said, the game for me next week is the Chelsea Tottenham game. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that more than because I'm actually going to the home game where we play Leicester next week.
But gonna be vlogging.
You never know. I may vlog. Hopefully, it will be a win, and we'll be able to celebrate 3 extra points. But my eyes will very much be over to see against that other North London derby, because I think it will be a test for both clubs to see where they actually fit. How well have they done with their, obviously Koulibaly is a rock, and I'm looking forward to seeing him deal with the likes of Son, Kane, Kulusevski, and the likes. I'm looking forward to seeing how he deals with quality strikers. It's going to be very, very interesting. So it's next season, 5 teams. If is still high. Thank you so much for clearing that up for us.
Lovely. So for me, I look at Chelsea and I think if he gets it right, just like we're saying with Kulusevski and all these other players, right? Pulisic has that potential. Mason Mount has that potential. Havertz has that potential. We know they brought Sterling in. We know what he can do. Chelsea are a problem.
Yeah.
If he can get them firing, they don't even need anything additional because all of those players are ballers. All of them. Yeah. Right?
Oh, man.
So Chelsea, and to go and get a rock like Koulibaly, get someone else in alongside him, right? I think Chelsea are a problem. They're a problem.
I mean, we all said when they lost Rudiger.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill. But Koulibaly is that guy. Quality.
Yeah, filling it.
And John Martin has popped in. Looking forward to this season. Greetings to you, John. Thank you so much for popping in and joining us. We're actually just about to wind down now. You've missed a great first episode of the new season. Our shows will go out 7 p.m. every Wednesday and every Sunday. So if you would like to join us on the screen, the details are on the ticker. So look what's going on along there. Email us or message us. You can get us on ForMorSport@gmail.com, or you can also reach out to us on Twitter, ForMorSport, or check us out on Instagram, and soon to have a TikTok, but that is in the pipeline. But this is ForMorSport. My name's Johnny. I'm joined on the screen with my boy Chris. We have been doing this now for it's our second season, but we've got quite a few shows. If you want to check them out, look at our last season and see the jokes we've had. Usually we've got more people on the screen, and hopefully on Wednesday we'll have a few more of the gang back with us, where we can talk and generally have some banter and generally talk about what happens in the league. So Chris, would you have any concluding words or anything you'd like to say before we end the stream today?
No, I think good to be back. Definitely that level of consistency we're looking to bring it. We want more interaction, more subscribers, more friends. So please don't be shy. Honestly, interact, and let's just have fun with it. This is what football's all about, isn't it?
Did you see that comment? Did you see that Gary Neville was disrespectful about Chelsea's new owner, saying he thinks he's playing Football Manager? Do you know Gary Neville? Don't get me wrong. Gary Neville needs, he's always going to be that kind of guy who's going to say stuff to get a reaction, So, take what he says with a pinch of salt. But either way, he's entitled to his opinion. But I think Chelsea have always been, since the years of them, coming to the top level, they do business. They do good business. They buy, they spend money. They don't care what they spend, and they're quite happy to pay what they need to get what they need. So
they have a manager now who has a philosophy and he knows what he wants. So ultimately, because it's not Roman, it's somebody else. Yes, you've got the money and you might want to be like, right, I've got to be aggressive in the market. You still got a manager who's world class and says, I need to plug these gaps. You can't just go and get some random who's good, but I don't need. You must plug the gaps that I asked you to do. If there's a deal to be done, i.e. Barcelona, and if there's that you can get on the cheap, go and get them. That goes without saying, But otherwise, they're doing good business. Gary Neville was never complaining when Man United were spending money on Rio Ferdinand and Juan Sebastian Veron. He loved it.
Oh my goodness! Do you remember that? Wow, that was a big sign.
Then, like at the end of the day, he feels threatened. At the end of the day, he knows that his team they're not plugging the gaps that they need to.
No,
they're
that's
not
true.
plugging those gaps. So he's worried. So you just got to keep yourself relevant, don't you?
Yeah, and it's funny because, as you said, obviously he's a United fan through and through. He loves his club, but he's watched the changing of the guard.
Facts.
And now he's watched a cementing of that guard. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought, oh, United will be back, but no, United won't be back. They're not back. There's a lot of work for them to do if they are ever going to get back to that position. There's a lot of business, a lot of money they're gonna have to spend, and they can't plug the gap by getting Ronaldo. They need more than that. But you know what?
And this is the thing about United, right? They won't like me saying it, and I don't watch them enough to probably have an educated view on it, but it mirrors so much of what Liverpool went through. You are the best. You then fall back a little bit and you think it doesn't matter, we'll be back, because you think it's divine right. And you just fall further and further away, right?
Exactly.
And what United don't seem to understand, look, they're still a draw. They're still a draw for nearly, like, most footballers on this planet, right? It's Manchester United, but it's not as easy as it used to be because they're not in Champions League. And people are seeing that, when was the last time they won a trophy? So people are looking at that and they're thinking, oh, maybe not, but they are still a draw. So you just got to give that to them. However, it's not always put money on it. Look at Liverpool. We didn't have that money. The most sensible thing they did was get a manager that people were willing to play for. Right? People say, oh, but Liverpool spend money. Yes, we do, but we have to sell before we can buy. And if people don't want to accept that fact, that's fine. But that's the truth. Man United don't really have to do that. It's just they can't have an endless amount of players when you can only register a certain amount of players, right? So hence why you have to get some off the wage bill before you can bring others in. I can't understand, and I feel a bit sorry for them, because you think of
I don't.
Frankie, no, a little bit, because Frankie de Jong, he can't leave Barcelona without getting his loyalty, getting his money, right? And you understand that. But for United, they need him in. Their pre-season, they haven't had him, and now he could go to someone else, and then all of your transfer dealings and whatever is got. So you just hope that for Ten Hag, he just gets on the training pitch, gets them working, because you know what? Like all the things you said about United, it is facts, right? They're a long way off. Yeah. If you're talking about the league, they're a long way off.
And their noisy neighbor is the changing of the guard.
It's a mad.
It's one thing. It's funny. It's one thing to lose your crown, but you don't want to lose your crown to the neighbor. But anyway,
they don't rate the neighbors. In truth, when I watch things on TV and blah 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 blah, they would rather lose. They would rather City win because it stays in Manchester than to see Liverpool catch them on 20. So that's when I know that. Can you imagine that Jurgen Klopp has come in and he's made Man United fans support City? Do you know how mad that is?
That is crazy,
brother.
I know.
You would never support Spurs. You would
never. Never.
You would never support Spurs, and I would never support Everton. But Man United fans are having to support City It's mad, bruv. It's mad.
Listen, we are going to end it here, Chris. So, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up for us. We're a small channel, but we are growing. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We go out live every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. So please check out all our details on a ticker. If you don't have the information, watch the show again. You know, help us with our algorithm to grow and get the algorithm to start sharing us out so that we can get more people involved in the show. Now, that was episode 1 of season 2. We are looking forward to more shows, more conversations, but we are going to leave it there. And then we will join you again next week, Wednesday. Chris, be good. And on that note, take care. We'll see you.